Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 267, Future Visioning, with my friend Valerie Lemme. And before we dive into this one, I want to give you a quick update on our schedule with the podcast. As you've probably figured out the last month or so, we've been releasing some bonus interviews on Fridays. I had a lot of great interviews like this one in the books, and I want to make sure that I stay caught up. So we are going back to regularly scheduled programming as of next Friday, when we are doing the fly on the wall coaching session where you get to listen in as I coach up one of my Transformation Reboot clients. I've got some great coaching sessions lined up that have occurred over the last couple of months. I think you're really going to like that. So back to regularly scheduled programming. Let me know what you like on the Friday episode. Do you like the coaching? Do you like the extra interviews? Hit me up on Instagram at Million Pound Mission and send me a DM. Let me know what you like. I will keep giving you guys what you want. Give the people what they want. There we go. So one other thing, talk about giving the people what they want. I've got something special I'm going to talk about after the episode. It has to deal with the Million Pound Mission Live workshop coming up in October. Do you guys want to hang out and have meals with, have dinner with, do a special workout with people like Danny Vega, Robert Sykes, the Keto Savage, and Alexa Sherm? If you're interested in that kind of action, hang on after the episode. I'll tell you all about it. Now, this episode is a good one. You know I'm big on mindset. I know a lot of you wish that there was just this mental switch that you could flip so that you could shift that personal momentum and get it going again in the right direction. And today, my friend Valerie Lemme is going to teach us a technique called Future Visioning that might just do the trick for us. Now, Valerie is a whole life success coach. Her 39-year extensive search for healing was fulfilled with Caine's Future Visioning process, which is a powerful system which transformed her body, her relationships, her mind, and her life. And she recently turbocharged her self-empowerment by losing 40 pounds through what she describes as the Future Visioning Tell the Effin' Truth diet program. And we dive into that in this episode. You're going to love that. So her wisdom and experience can help you heal quickly and easily by applying these profound, unique principles for success. So in our conversation, we go into several interesting topics. We talk about how Valerie reclaimed her hope about what she could create with her life. This is big. I know a lot of us feel like we've kind of maxed out our potential, or we're just in the rut of life that we're in, and we're stuck there. And she talks about that, and she talks about getting out of that mindset. We talk about what future visioning is and how it works. We talk about the specific routine that people can expect to use with future visioning. And we talk about some of the amazing results that she's seen from the process. So if you've been looking for something just to kind of shift gears a little bit, you're going to enjoy this episode. You're going to get a lot out of it. So without any further delay, let's dive on in to episode number 267, Future Visioning with Valerie Lemme. All right, Valerie, welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, well, I am excellent and really thrilled to be here and joining your mission. Even though we live in different geographical locations, this seems to be a worldwide project, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's something I'm really proud of. And I love, it's just like a boulder rolling downhill with momentum. And we just keep on adding momentum with each guest. And you're somebody, you've got an amazing story. I believe that your topic of expertise is needed with what my audience is looking for. I think you're going to add a ton of value to this crew that's tuning in here today. So let's dive into your story a little bit, because I love giving our listeners a picture of where you're kind of coming from. Where, you know, you've walked a path that a lot of them have walked, and you felt that rock bottom moment, that those feelings of despair and hopelessness, and then you were able to actually reclaim control of your life, regain hope of what you could do with your life. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. And you had just mentioned that your audience is a particular, demographic, and wow, can I relate to that? being female and older and looking back at the train wreck of trying to get my weight under control for a lifetime has a different vantage point of recognition than when you're just starting out, when you're in your teens or 20s, right?
Yeah.
And so at one point, my mentor, Caine, who actually is the founder of FutureVisioning, which is the root modality that we do and you said I could curse, so the name of the weight loss program is Tell the Fucking Truth Diet. So we actually teach people to access the deeper emotional components of why do you go for that jag of, binging or eating when you shouldn't, and tools to actually find the right approach so that the weight just comes off naturally. But when I found Ty back in 2010, I was 50, I believe I was 52. And I was at the end of my rope. I was in complete despair. Things were not working in my life at all, despite having a company of my own. But my weight was just off the charts. Really, I had been like higher than I'd ever been before. And I think numbers say a lot here. I'm only 5 foot tall, maybe. And don't tell anybody. And I was at my highest, I was 172. And when I saw that number on the scale, it was just complete despair. And so then I backed it down to about 162. And that was when I met my wall of resistance, and just would go down and up and down and up and down and up for years. When I was at my lowest, I was about 100, anywhere from 103 to 108. So you can imagine the agony of that extra weight, and having known a thin body and having that memory and getting there over and over again, but not being able to sustain it. So that, and there was hormonal changes that were happening because of menopause. So my whole life went into a tailspin. And after my credentials of being a certified hypnotherapist, a journey practitioner, and everything that I had learned to do, every seminar, every book, to find myself still thinking in the end, what is wrong with me, was the worst possible thing, especially a seeker of truth. 39 years, I had meditated, looked at this, looked at that, and things were getting worse. I ended up in the emergency room twice with back pain that was off the charts. So then in comes FutureVisioning, and I heal my back. I heal my high blood pressure. My weight starts to come down somewhat. And now I'm fluctuating in a lower,
Yep.
My relationship improves. I start exercising regularly for the first time since high school. Wow, that's pretty cool, right?
Huge.
My career changed. So it really empowered me to look at every area of my life. My spiritual connection deepened and became real. And we do this by opening up the person to working with the power of the future. And I started to see myself. I went out and met my wise old me at the end of my life, about 100 years old. And Adam, if I can tell you, she was so cool. She was the bomb. She was still so vital, so happening. All her memory was there, and I fell in love, and tears were just streaming down my face with the feeling of accomplishment that I had, rather than, oh boy, what a ride. I'm completely, diminished
Right.
from everything. Yeah.
Right. So I'm really curious about FutureVisioning, and I think you've probably piqued the audience curiosity a little bit as well. So can you define what that is, and then tell us a little bit about your journey and how that changed and impacted your life?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I noticed in all of the other modalities that I did, I was always good at finding what was missing. Anyone who's excellent at what they do, I believe, has this quality. You see what works, but you go, wait a minute, no, that's and going to the future first, seeing the solution is actually the very ingredient that all successful, the 3 to 5% of all successful people do. It's these actually two things combined. Tomorrow is going to be better than today, and I have the ability to create it. So it actually brought back empowerment that I create my reality 100% by causing or allowing everything. So then, of course, excuses, blame, powerlessness all go by the wayside unless you bring them back in, which, of course, from time to time we do through self-sabotage. And that's one of the things that I also found was lacking. How do I explain when I fail, why I'm doing it? Even when I look at other areas of my life, oh, I'm successful here. How come I'm not applying it over here? And this was the tools for really understanding how important my emotions were and getting down to the spiritual root cause. If you don't mind, I can tell you, yesterday I was talking to someone who's, I'm working with now, and she's angry at certain people in her life. And so we talked about how to release and express that anger so healthfully to get it out of your body. That helps with proper weight. And then I said to her, now, who do you think is watching you the whole time that you're suffering and struggling? And it took her a little while, but then she went, oh, you mean God? And this is not a religion, but this is a spiritual part of it. And I said, oh yeah, why do you think people cut? Why do you think I overate when my husband went up to bed at night? It was because I knew who was still watching. And I was like, you see, I'm really pissed off at you. I think I'm pissed off at my husband, but really I'm pissed off at life. And if you get down to that, so she just stopped and she went, oh, you mean I'm angry at God? And I never knew that. And I went, yep. And then she started crying. And I thought, wow, this is an authentic, honest person.
Yeah.
And then I told her, guess what? Everybody is. Even atheists are angry at God, but they gave up even believing. So that's how angry they are. It's just like, no, I don't believe in anything bigger than me. So if you boil it down to, and here, this is where it relates to the body image, right? Who are we taught most of the time gave us our bodies?
We have our parents, the way we're brought up, that's
right.
Genetics.
It was just handed to us.
Yes.
And here we are, and we had no choice. So imagine if you're someone who looks at food across the room and then gets on the scale and gains weight from just looking at the food.
Right.
Aren't you pissed at life? Because then you're seeing that other person who's your friend or whatever, who can just like take anything and eat and go, what? How did that happen? Life is unfair. So my experience of the words life is unfair is it's secular speak for I am pissed off at the divine.
Yeah. And that's something that when I do coaching with people over weight loss, we talk a lot about, I say the hardest exercise in the world to do. And they're like, ooh, this is going to be something profound. And it's not really an exercise. It's just turning the finger of blame from pointing outwards to turning to accepting responsibility, personal responsibility. And it's exactly what you're talking about, where you can't change anything. You can't be the hero of your own movie if you are playing the victim role and blaming everybody else. You have to switch that mindset, accept responsibility, because then we feel like we actually can do something about it. We're not waiting for somebody else to come and save us, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what's at the root cause of the anger is I'm waiting for the rescue. And it ain't happening. It's not coming. And so instead of the really being an adult, we stay in child, adolescent. And this also is a way of going to the future, connecting with your future self, and then going and healing the inner child, the adolescent who's stuck in some of the childhood or, teenage pain, when we started having these negative limiting beliefs and finally healing it permanently. I think that's what I really would love to tell your audience, that permanent weight loss and maintaining it forever is available at this time and age. And that's the hope that I have now that I never had before. There was always this, okay, I got down here now. Uh-oh, how am I going to keep it? How am I going to keep it? And there's this anxiety, and I don't have that anymore. That anxiety is not here. I know how I did it because I did it consciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So walk us through that a little bit. I'd love to hear the process of how you kind of reclaim control over your health.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we discovered was just, and it's not just quote unquote portion control, but it is eating less than you've been eating so far. And we do not restrict foods. So I was listening to one of your other podcasts, and I noticed something, and I was thinking about a health coach that I'd had a couple of years back. And I realized that I'm going to do a blog about this. It was like, why are brownies so demonized? What is it about brownies? Everybody talks about, well, you got that brownie and it's in front of your face and you eat it. And I'm like, I can eat a brownie and still lose weight if I eat it slowly and consciously and savor it and stop before I'm even full. There's a mechanism that I've discovered. So eating slow and really savoring, really, really being there with your food. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll walk away in the middle of my meal and just go do something. And then I find that whole thing about the apostat taking 15, 20 minutes, it really does. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm downstairs and I'm doing something, folding clothes. I go, oh my gosh, I'm really satisfied now. Wow, I am in the middle of my meal. So I can take that meal, the rest of it, and put it aside for later when I get hungry again.
Right.
So it's really just eating not to satisfy your cravings, but to satisfy your body and to start to understand and get rid of the self-loathing and the disconnection that also comes from carrying around the extra weight. I'm just curious, and I know that I'm asking you a question now and you're the interviewer.
Go for it.
All right, thank you. So when you were overweight, did you ever get in touch with that part of you that loathed or hated yourself for the state that you were in at the time?
Well, I feel like eventually, a big part of my momentum that I kicked off my own weight loss journey with was looking inside and going, okay, here's the current situation. What do I want to actually become? And kind of then connecting the dots from there. I've never been big on beating myself up about things, but I'm good at like doing self-analysis, and so kind of running the report on myself, going, okay, here are the things that just don't feel good about my body, that don't feel good about my life. And here is what I want to change. And here's where I want to get to. So what's the first action step to start moving forward? That's how I've always kind of operated, whether it's business or body or relationships or whatever. So that, but I feel like that's super important to be honest with yourself, like you said, and be connected and realize like, okay, what's the message that we're telling ourselves? What's the state that we're putting ourselves in? And then how do we shift those things in a positive direction?
Right. And what you just described, Adam, was that you are connected to your future. You did it automatically, not so much where if someone said to you, oh, did you go to the future to help yourself get out of where you are? You might go, no, I'm not really sure, but you did. Because I listen and I hear you went to, where do I want to be?
Right.
Which is the Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, begin with, and, and I always said, be proactive is the first one. And I scratched my head and went, well, why is begin with the end in mind the second one? It should be the first one.
I agree.
It's good, but he got the numbers wrong. You have to begin with the end in mind first, then be proactive, like you just said. And that's really cool that you use the future to motivate you. And that's what we've also found. When you use the future, it makes your life easy. It's easy to get to this. And one of the things that's really cool is taking the struggle out of losing weight. And I'm going to tell you the truth here. This is because the reason it's called Tell the Fucking Truth Diet is because I was telling Ty that I was being honest. I said, well, I'm being honest. He goes, Valerie, you're being honest about your dishonesty. So we can't call it the honesty diet because I see now that you're really, so it's being named for you. So I'm the infamous reason that it's called Tell the Fucking Truth Diet. And I learned to become a better adult at the age of 60 something, through this. This was my last, like Custard's Last Stand. This was where my victim mentality was really holding out the strongest, the biggest. So I left it for last.
Hey, this is just a really quick break in the action to remind you that I've got 2 live Million Pound Mission workshops coming up. I'm going to be doing a half-day workshop in Huntington Beach, California on September the 21st, and I'm putting on a full-day workshop at my fitness studio, the world headquarters in lovely Bloomington, Indiana on October 19th. You can head on over to millionpoundmission.com to get all the details. You can see our amazing speaker lineup for both events, and you can grab that ticket before we get sold out. Now, back to the episode. So when somebody starts a future visioning process, can you walk us through okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, how does this work? And how do we implement this so that we can start making building momentum towards what we do want to create in our future?
Yeah. Well, that's what the Future Visioning worksheets are. It's an article and it talks about the value of starting with the end in mind and how it does make it easier. And then there's worksheets in the back. I guess the biggest part of it is dreaming. And I'm not talking about fanciful daydreaming. I'm talking about finally looking at it and going, what do I really want to be? What do I really want to do here? And then committing it to paper, writing it down, and doing it in all areas of your life. So one of the things that we have seen over and over again, Ty and I, is that many, many people who are successful in business because they make goals and set goals. And you're a rare bird that you did that purposefully in all areas of your life. Most people don't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're like, yeah, whatever, just go with the flow. And I'm like sitting there going, go with the flow. What if a tsunami is coming toward you? That's not a good time to go with the flow, Right. It's really about being not just proactive, but 100% involved in the process, or as close to 100% as you can. Yeah. So
one of the things that really helped me, like when I kind of put my foot down and had come out of that rock bottom moment, started to create the life that I wanted to create for myself, was I created, like you said, I committed it to writing. I created what I refer to as my lifestyle rehabilitation statement. And it was a series of affirmations. So is that involved at all? So as far as like affirmations and any repetitive, because I interviewed Sarah Centrell, and she talked about creating a future board, like a vision board, and being able to incorporate visual impact on what we're trying to create for ourselves. So any tips along those lines for us?
Yes, I do. I feel that this is really the essence of the catchphrase, retraining your brain. Most of the time, we are walking around. Oh, by the way, your brain is always seeing the future. Our prefrontal cortex, that is always anticipating what's going to come next. If you shut that off, you would no longer be human. So it's part and parcel. But what most people do is they anticipate the worst or how it's not going to work out. And then the emotions that come up in your body reflect that. Because if you think, oh my God, I'm going to do this and I'm going to fail, what immediately happens to me is I feel this pit right in my solar plexus in my stomach. It's like, if I think those words, oh my God, I'm going to do this, but it's not going to be as good as I think it's going to be, then I feel resignation. So your perception, your picture does create an emotional response. So if I say to myself and I see, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it work. Wow, what's that feeling? That feeling is confidence, empowerment. So it's changing the pictures that we're seeing in our head to the one that you are wanting the outcome. So doing a vision board is a cool thing to do, but you can't carry that vision board around with you all day long. It's like meditation. You can go and you can meditate and you can get to a relaxed, peaceful state. But how do you get to peaceful in the middle of a confrontation with a person that you're having that comes up in your life and still have the peace there? So this is in the moment tools that you can access for getting the best possible results in every single situation that you're in. And of course, if you don't, then there's this cool little fast, quick, recognize, acknowledge, forgive, and change technique. Okay. In that situation, I could have done this, I didn't. Why? Okay. Maybe I was cowardly. Maybe I was, wanting a guarantee about the way it was going to turn out. So I hedged my, whatever it is. And then you go, oh, wow, well, that's not going to work. So I forgive myself. I think forgiveness is key. Yep. And a lot of times, and there's one other thing, and this is a testimonial to what you're doing too. I did look up some information, of course, on the internet. And people who are coached through weight loss are 5% more likely to get there quicker. So coaching is really a wonderful tool. And since I've already done this, lost about I don't know what it is. It's something like about when I did the Tell the Fucking Truth diet. And for people who want to be more politically correct, you can say Tell the Effing Truth diet. Sometimes we have to put it that way. But one of the things that I have found is that when I hit against the blocks, if I went and had a session or a coaching session with my mentor and they do the same to me, sometimes the next day, and this is true, 2, 3, 1.5 pounds, they'll be down the next day, because some of what holds on to weight is also our self-pity. It's our feeling sorry for ourselves. That's the great way of holding on to what doesn't work in your life in so many areas. Yeah.
So what about the person? I do a lot of like free calls with listeners and things like that. And I see a lot of people that are just like, Adam, I know I need to get healthy. I know I want to get healthy, but I just don't have that spark. Like I haven't found my give a damn. I haven't figured out like what's going to get me out of bed. So how can your methods help that specific type of person?
An amazing question. And going to the future and having the picture. So this is what I ask people all the time. What is your life going to look like when you no longer have this as the problem? What is it going to look like? What is it going to feel like for you? And if I can just use one example, I was speaking to someone and she had an addiction issue and was just getting out of a tailspin that happened because of that. We spoke for about 1.5 hours and she went running for the first time in over a year. She just got off the phone because she was so inspired, because I said to her, what is your life going to look like? What is it going to feel like when this whole issue is behind you? And now it is. She stays in touch with me regularly and she created an amazing life from working with the power of the future. And a client of mine who's very smart in this and works with people, she had someone who came to her who said, I'm suicidal. And she was like, oh, wow, okay. And he, again, here's someone who has a business, who helps other people. He's, a chiropractor, right? So you'd think, well, that should be the height of you're helping people. And he was suicidal. So she just did this with him. She just said, okay, I want you to see your bright future. And what are you going to feel like when you're there? And he just accessed it and went, wow, I'm going to feel empowered. I'm going to feel on purpose. And so she saw him about a month later, and he said, I haven't had one suicidal thought since we had our conversation. I wake up in the morning, I sit on the side of my bed and I go, what am I going to do today that's going to get me toward my bright future? Wow. Yeah, that's a wow. And I'll give you another example. So a young woman came to see me, and this was not weight loss, and she was so in her head about like, what do I do? I've got this boyfriend. He's a great guy. Oh, I feel guilty, breaking up with him. She's 21 years old, and you can just see it's just like a cloud all around her. And she's a psychology major. And she even said to me, yeah, isn't that interesting? And I go, yeah. And so I just asked her this one question. I said, what if you knew in your heart of hearts, in your very marrow, that your amazing ideal man is going to be in your life 2 years from now, anytime from now for the next 2 years? What would you do with your boyfriend right now? And she just looked square in my eyes and without hesitation said, I would break up with him right now. And I said, good, I think you got your answer. And after just all this confusion, she went and broke up with him. And there's a little bit more to the understory, but that's the power of the future. It cuts through all the doubts and fears, and it gives you a picture, an image. Well, then also you have to work on, when you have your future and you see it, a lot of times what'll come up is the block. What's stopping you? So you talked about people who have I just can't be motivated. You got to find out the origination of that. Again, that's when you go back to the child, to the adolescent, to the young adult. When did the hope get extinguished? And you know what? It's never permanent. There's always opportunities for more hope, for the re-establishing of that flame. So that's really what it sounds simplistic, but it's not. It's actually very complex. We work with quantum physics and metaphysics. We talk about all time existing simultaneously. That's why you can go to the future and go to the past and actually change the past. You can really change the past. And most people don't know that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I love, I have a similar technique that I've done as far as just like goal setting and being proud of myself. Because I feel like a lot of times we as human beings are just checking goals off checklist of, okay, I lost 20 pounds, check. And then what's the next one that I'm gonna put pressure on myself to hit? Oh, 30 pounds, check. And we never really get to celebrate that, right? And be in the moment and be like, I've lost 30 pounds. And a technique that I use is I will sit and be like where I am today. And I'll think back to when I first started and have kind of that mental conversation and go and just put myself back there and go, okay, that's what I was feeling. This is the hopeless feeling that I had. This is the physical feeling I had. I'm proud of you. And just tell myself that. And then that helps me when I'm setting a big goal in front of myself and go, look how far I've come. Look how far this silly dude has come. And, so of course that's possible, when I look in the future. So I love working that timeline like this and just kind of connecting the dots, but being mindful, being present, and understanding that we truly do have control and the impossible can be possible. as long as we're willing to put in the work, right?
Absolutely. And that is awesome. And I have a big smile on my face. What you just described to me is a form of self-love. That's you loving yourself, and nobody can love you like you love you.
Yep.
It's really true. And get to the core. And the other thing is your future self is more you than you are because you've gotten wiser as you've gone along. So when your future self comes and visits, or you visit your future self, you can experience unconditional love and acceptance because you're always loving yourself. And the one thing I wanted to add to what you said is I have this great habit of believing you have the right, and really should. I know people don't like the word should, but I'm just saying, hey, at the beginning of your quest or your goals, celebrate. Even before you did it, celebrate. Yeah. And that puts you in the resonance of the feeling that you're going to get to when you get there.
So, Valerie, with whenever I get into a topic like this, some people ask questions like, well, what if I'm stressed out and I just can't help it? I'm stressed out. Am I attracting more stress? Or what if something really bad happens? What if my business fails? Am I allowed to be sad about that? Or how do I deal with these things where it's a natural like stress or sad situation? Are we allowed to feel that, or are we just attracting more stress and sadness?
Oh God, I love your questions. They're so good. Well, first of all, there are no negative emotions except if they're suppressed. If you express and release an emotion, so to feel the sorrow and the sadness because of a failure is human. So yeah, you have to be able to feel the sorrow when something is ending. My dad, who was almost 90, just passed away about a month and a half ago. And there are days when I just feel a wave of missing him because we got very close and he became so loving it was just like amazing. And I miss that. And so I allow myself to have that rather than trying to push it down or squash it. And also knowing that I could feel. When I allow myself, I can just go, oh, you're doing really good right now, aren't you? I can feel that he is. So there's both simultaneously. One of the other future visioning principles is that simplicity causes frustration. If we melt things down to a simple equation, it means you're missing a lot of components because nothing is really simple. Our bodies are made up of, I forget how much, 300 trillion cells, single cells working as a body. So I can't look at a human being anymore and just go, yep, a human being. I'm like, whoa, look at that. Like all those trillions of cells making Adam who he is and every other person. So why don't we take those 300 trillion or whatever it is cells and make it work for you rather than against you? That's what we're here to do. This is supposed to be fun, by the way. And that's the other principle of future visioning. If you're not enjoying and you're not having fun, something has to change. And if you want to change your world, change yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the empowerment that you're living and feeling. And, I'm really embracing and living now. And I just see it getting, and here's the other thing. Do you see an end to how wonderful your life can continue to be? I don't see an end.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Don't you wish you could put that in a glass and just have people that come to you just drink this?
Yes. Just drink this Kool-Aid. I've been accused of making people drink the Kool-Aid before.
And so have I. So
yes.
But
it's important though. Like there's so many people out there that have lost hope. And that's one of my favorite moments. Like when people go on my website, they see the physical transformation in Rolodex, and I can just kick out hundreds of those things of these amazing physical transformations. But my favorite part of those is their eyes, the look in their eyes, because you can see it. Like you can see hope in the quote unquote after picture, the now, the current picture. And so many people just look just lost and sad and hopeless and helpless. And, in the updated picture, there's a spark there, there's fire, there's control.
Right.
That's absolutely my favorite part about what I do, is just helping people get some clarity and give them some hope. They have to borrow a little bit of my energy because I got plenty, but we get their own built up. And, it's just the greatest gift that I feel like I can give somebody, is that spark in their eye, that they have hope again. And I know you're doing the same thing. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to add to what you're saying, hope is the bridge to your bright future. Hope is the bridge to your clients and, the people in your life, their bright future. So when we're in a state of hope, not like I hope it works out despite me, not that hope, but the hope that I can do this, that engenders, that's very powerful. That really is one of the important keys here. And when I have people come and I work on Zoom or I work in person, either one, so I have worked internationally, nationally with people. After we do a session, like you're saying, their whole face looks transformed. There's a beauty. There's a light that shines out of their eyes. And I think that is the hope. That's the connection. And that's actually the other thing. Really, we teach people how to release the suppressed anger that has been the hurt and the anger. And that's what depression or hopelessness is. It's emotions that the person hasn't been able to process with their tools that either self-help or their organizations that they've looked to or the familial structures or school has given them. There's always ingredients missing. And so to give that and to allow for the emotions to finally be really released. And suppressed anger kind of is like the clogging stuff in your engine. So when you get it out, everything runs better.
Yes. Yes, Valerie. Awesome. Awesome, my friend. Well, I think that we have some people interested in diving deeper on future visioning and your techniques. So what's the best way that they can do that? How can they dive a little bit deeper, get connected to you, get connected to this whole future visioning concept?
Mm-hmm. And also just contact me if weight is their issue as well, through Tell the Fucking Truth Diet. But they could go to my website, which is my name, Valerie Lemme, LEMME.com, and just sign up. And there's some free downloads. There's actually a small little guided meditation into your bright future immediately. There's the future visioning worksheets where they can dream and start writing. And one of the things that I do tell people, when you go to your future, see it as if you're already there. Don't, I wish someday. That's just putting it out there like you're never going to get it. Step into your power. Step into the future that you want and become that person. And like you said, then we'll reverse engineer. So that is there. And there's some audios too that helps people to start understanding the root cause of victim, martyr, self-sabotage, which is self-pity, and how to release suppressed anger. So those are all available for free on my website.
Amazing. Our favorite price, free. Well, Valerie, my friend, I appreciate you so much. You've got many places you could be right now, but I appreciate you being here and being mindful, being present, investing this time in the Million Pound Mission. It means a ton to me. I know you're making an impact across the world with what you do. So thank you very much, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And I intend to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I have a feeling you and I are going to be checking in with each other from time to time to see how we're moving forward. So, and thank you for starting your Million And I love your Million Pound Mission. And by the way, I love your PhD handle. So cool, Adam. Every time I hear you say it, I'm like laughing. Previously heavy dude. Oh, cool. I'm trying to find. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
I got my PhD hat on for
it. And you didn't have to go to college for it either.
Nope.
No, but you had to do something really incredible. You had to create self-mastery, which is better than any piece of paper.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Valerie, thank you so much. And it's you're 100% correct. We are on the same side of the battle lines, and we are going to be locking arms and helping a lot of people in the future. So
absolutely.
Everybody out there, you've been inspired. You've got some great action steps. I want you to connect with Valerie and her information, dive deeper. If you feel like that something in our conversation sparked you a little bit, be an implementer, dive a little bit deeper, because that is how we get out there. That's how we own it. Every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. Hey there. Thanks for hanging out after the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this future visioning conversation with Valerie Lemme. All the contact notes are in the show notes of this podcast episode and on the blog at millionpoundmission.com. Now, who wants to hang out with Danny Vega, Robert Sykes, Alexa Sherm? If you said, me, then I've got the ultimate solution for you. They are all coming to speak at my event in October. You can pick up a platinum ticket. I've got a few, less than 5 platinum tickets left at the time of this recording. But you get special access to everybody. We've got general admission. I've got a gold level pass as well. But the platinums get bonus access. So you're going to show up a half a day early. We're going to do a transformation mastermind small group session with the speakers, just you and them. Imagine being able to ask Danny Vega your muscle building questions, or Robert Sykes your keto questions, or some hormone response questions to Alexa Sherm. Just ask her directly in a small group of 10 people or less and get direct responses and strategy from them. So that's Friday night. Then Saturday morning, you're going to wake up and we're all doing a workout together. It's going to be a workout/workshop, but it's going to be fitness based with the speakers. Again, imagine Danny, Robert, Alexa showing you techniques that they have mastered with their fitness. Then we're going to go through the full workshop day at lunchtime when everyone else has to leave and go to lunch on their own. Lunch is provided for you in the studio, and we're sitting down with the speakers in a small group and breaking bread. Keeping it low carb, it'll be keto friendly. We'll have a great time there. And then we've got a special after party dinner celebration planned just for the platinum ticket holders, again with the speakers. So it's going to be special. I'm really trying to curate a special experience for you guys. I love pulling in my podcasting connections and getting you connected and in front of these people so that you can learn directly from them. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, head on over to millionpoundmission.com. Get your ticket before we sell out the last 5 platinum passes. If we are sold out, you can still grab a gold pass. You can grab a general admission ticket, and you're still going to have an amazing experience. I can't wait to see you. Now, on Monday, the next episode coming up is a huge interview for me. I'm interviewing Michael Hyatt. He's one of my heroes. I've read all of his books. He's somebody that I really draw a lot of inspiration from. So I can't wait for you to check out episode 268 coming out on Monday with Michael Hyatt. We will see you then.